And here it is, 8 weeks in Iceland, coming to an end.
It's over, 8 weeks. It has flown by.
So many adventures. The most memorable one, I've been off-road on the off-road and the designated off-road tracks, most in the Highlands. It's just been phenomenal.
It's been awesome. And this was our last off-road here, so
leading to a beach, which is crazy. The diversity of landscapes in Iceland is actually mind-blowing. We've done some really cool adventures.
We have done some wicked adventures. We could have spent longer for sure. We would love to come back. In fact, we have loved Iceland so much, we are considering plotting a little plan to do tag-along tours here. But,
for sure. That would be such a
if that's something you would ever be potentially interested in, let us know, because of course we don't know if we've got the market for it. But yeah, we would love to take some tag-along adventures. I mean, we know all the best spots now, right? So yeah, that would be cool. So
yeah, we've done some cool adventure inland, but we've done as well a few cool adventures on the surrounding of the map, starting with one really cool adventure that Chris actually did solo.
Yeah, so I'm an idiot. So some of you would have seen that there was a volcanic eruption in Iceland while we were here. It was like this long, kilometer-long strip of volcano. But it erupted the day after we drove into the West Fjords, which isn't a huge drive, but we didn't want to turn back around and go back towards Reykjavik, which is the busy capital city. So we carried on, plus they closed it all. It's illegal to go and see a volcano at that stage because it can be obviously really dangerous. So that petered away, and then another volcano erupted. By that stage, we'd kind of left the West Fjords. We were kind of going around near the top of the country and then decided to do some more off-roads. And I just kind of put it out of my mind. I was like, Chris, it doesn't exist. The volcano doesn't exist. It's too far away. It's too much driving. So by the time I came to my senses, we had driven all the way back up to where our ferry leaves from. So that's kind of over here to show you. So our ferry kind of comes in here somewhere, I think around in here.
Yeah.
And the volcano was over here near Grindavik, and this is Reykjavik, the capital city. And that, it's not a massive drive, but it would have been 3 days of driving in Skadi down and then 3 days of driving in Skadi back up, and it's just too much for Oakley. It's just not fair to him to be in his seat. We want him to be able to explore outside.
And what's the deadline of the ferry?
Yeah, so well, luckily there was an airport right near that town. I hired a Hertz rental car, this little tiny little thing, and we parked Ange and Oaks up at a really nice campsite for, was it
2 days?
For 2 days. It was only one night. And I just boosted down one morning. So that was about an 8.5 hour drive, because the maximum speed limit in Iceland is 90k an hour. Boosted all the way down. I got there by just kind of before sunset, luckily. And it was mind-blowing. Did a bit of a hike to the volcano, saw it. It would have been unreal when it had first happened, but it was still incredible. There was still flowing lava coming out of the ground. It was just amazing. Got back in the little rental car, didn't drive too far, tried to sleep, so I got like maybe 4 hours of sleep in the front of the car. Got up and then just boosted all the way back up to Ange and Oakley the next day, another like 8.5 hour drive. But I went around the top, so I did the entire ring road, but it was well and truly worth it. I really enjoyed the little solo adventure, and I wasn't actually too tired from it. It was a lot of fun.
So a few days before Chris went for his volcano mission, we actually had exited the Highlands and went back on the ring road towards our ferry. And we stopped along the way a few times, including this little offshoot here of the ring road for a really nice hike. Nice and early start to another beautiful day.
Look at
wow.
That. We've struck gold towards the end of our trip.
Yeah, we actually haven't had many really sunny, beautiful days like this. So we thought, you know what? That's a good day for a hike.
Oh yeah.
Something as well that we haven't done as much in Iceland.
Yeah, so I mean, Iceland is just such an amazing country for hiking, but gotta say, Oakley doesn't love being in this backpack, and I don't blame him, because it doesn't look very comfortable, but he refuses to use the like stirrups for his feet, so it's just an uncomfortable experience for him, I think. So that's very much limiting our hiking, and we love hiking, so we'll have to come back to Iceland when he's a little bit older and he can kind of hike himself with us.
Good boy, you ready for a 6 kilometer hike return?
Yay!
Hooray! Hooray! Excited!
Yay!
Yay!
I think I'm going to be carrying you, my friend. Hat!
Yeah, so yeah, the key I guess right now is just a lot of snacks and yeah, letting him as well do a bit of the walk. So yeah, the hikes take a lot longer, but we've got all the time in the world today.
Dude.
But yeah, beautiful spot, being surrounded by those glaciers.
Vatnajökull, isn't it?
Yes, it is the biggest glacier in Iceland.
And it just spills out in so many locations across Iceland, and it's just fantastic. Hi, number 10. Where's number 11? What's after 23? Yeah, 24. Good boy. Yeah, 37. We have a 2-year-old who can count to 100. That's pretty cool. Couldn't have asked for a better day, sweetie.
I know.
My goodness. Oh. Can see right out over the ocean.
So good. Can you see all the waterfalls? All the
How
water?
good is this? My God.
No wonder why it's one of the best hikes in Iceland.
Yeah, I highly recommend this one. Wow.
Amazing!
We made it. Wow, check this out. We've just driven up this gnarly track off of the ring road. Zigzagged all the way up this mountain. We are above the glacier now. Obviously the clouds come in and made it a bit tricky to see. This is crazy. Yeah, that was a pretty gnarly track. We just saw super jeeps doing it. I let 3 pass me because they were going faster because they just hoon up here with their clients. Scotty just crawled up nice and slow and steady. And here we are, it's towards the end of the day now, so we'll get Oakley out playing some snow and stuff. So we tried to do this track when we very first got to Iceland. This track was the first time we went into low range, into 6x6 when we got here, and about halfway up the track we blew a pulley, so the idler pulley snapped the bolt through the belt, and it was about a 2 or a 3 hour fix for me on the side of this track. And by the time I'd fixed it and we were all ready to go, I'd lost total confidence in the truck, so we just headed back down to the ring road and never actually came up here. It's a shame because the weather was much nicer that day. We would have had a much better view of the glacier here. I seem to have fixed that issue. I'm not 100% sure it was, but I think I've fixed the issue, so it shouldn't happen again, fingers crossed. But yeah, that's a horrible thing to happen because not only does it throw the belt, but it snaps a bolt, and it was quite a long bolt. So I ended up having to salvage a bolt that length off of the gearbox, which I haven't replaced yet, so it's just missing a bolt, and that enabled me to fix it. So it required a proper trail repair, that one, and I had to drill the old one out. That ended up taking a really long time to drill it out and extract the broken bolt. But I think well, since then it's been absolutely fine, so hopefully that problem is fixed. But yeah, that's a stressful one, because with no belt equals no water pump, and would cook the engine in 5 minutes. So yeah, really tricky one.
Pretty cool machinery. Wow. Almost looks like they've got a little bed at the back. That would make a good camper. I'm sure Chris was already thought about something like this. Very cool. Alright, so it looks like I can actually access the glacier right here. Just gonna check out what's over there. And it looks like some Super Jeep tools take a truck that goes on the glacier. We just saw a few before. Amazing. I definitely don't have the right shoes to be here, but pretty special to be on the biggest glacier in Iceland. No visibility. Oh, here are the boys. I don't know what would be required to be driving. We actually don't really know if we're allowed even, or we need chains.
Because it looks quite flat, we would probably be fine. But yeah, I'd say studded tires or chains would be the way to go. It's not. Actually, we might not be fine. It's really solid, isn't it?
Crazy.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth trying.
No.
Whoa.
We'll go by foot.
1, 2, 3, go. Whoa, you're flying.
Say hi.
Hi to your followers, Oakley. What do you think of the snowcat? Do you like the snowcat?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a search and rescue snowcat. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Are you guys eating it?
Yeah. Tastes like ice.
Is it yummy?
Million-year-old glacier.
I can't get much purer than.
No, definitely.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy to think that just a few hours ago we were doing this beautiful hike in the canyon with such good weather. Then we took a little stop to one of the most popular
Don't get the brown stuff.
location in Iceland called Diamond Beach, next to a glacier. Last time we went there, it was our first week in Iceland, and we had such terrible weather getting there. So today was a completely different experience. And since we've been there, actually, the glacier has been melting as the temperature rises, and you could see actually chunk of ice going out to the ocean. That was quite a special experience. So we spent quite a bit of time around there just enjoying the sun. And then there was this off-road that we wanted to come back to. And we're basically now at the top of the Vatnajökull glacier. Like, we can overlook it behind the clouds. So this is the biggest glacier in Iceland. And a few weeks ago, we actually went to check out the second biggest glacier in Iceland, which the name might be hard to pronounce, but Langjökull. And that was a really cool experience because we did it aboard a very cool truck called Sleipnir 8x8 Tatra.
Check this thing out. Just parked Scotty over there. Scotty looks like a miniature toy next to this thing. So today, me, Ange and Oaks are going for a ride on the Sleipnir Tours Tatra 8x8. We are so excited. So Sleipnir is the Scandinavian Norse god Odin's 8-legged horse. So that's why they've named it this. How cool is this thing? So we got the inside scoop on the truck. So Tatra built this frame to the specifications of the owner, and then they had the cabin built on top of the frame and chassis. God, it is amazing. These are 65-inch tires. So some specs: it is 12 meters long, 3.25 meters wide, 3.8 meters high. It's ridiculous. What a weapon. The GoPro's making this look small, so we'll have to get some other footage soon. They are studded tires. We've got a few snowcats here. This one's taken a hiding, I don't know how. Oh, another snowcat over here as well. Cannot wait to get on this thing. We are going up. On the other side of here is a massive glacier that we're going to be driving on today.
Pretty cool.
So cool. What a way to ride in style to the glacier, eh? What a whip.
Crazy. Such a smooth ride.
Yes.
Like, the cool thing about this truck especially, it's got CTIS, which is something that would be a really cool addition to any of our trucks, but won't be really...
You know what? I've never ever once wished I had CTIS. It's just, I don't know.
It's a lazy way, but yeah, that was pretty cool. It just deflated tire pressure as we went up the
While
glacier.
on the move, yeah.
And like now the tires are
I think
just
it makes
so long.
sense for vehicles that take passengers and
Especially A
tours
tires.
kind of thing. Yeah, that makes total sense. That is some zero tire pressure right there. Hot chocolate, Icelandic donut. All right. The highly elusive Icelandic beach sheep.
Yeah, we haven't actually seen that much wildlife in Iceland. I mean, there's not a ton of mammals, especially.
No, there's only, sorry to interrupt, there's only one native mammal, and it's a little Arctic fox, which I did see a few times, especially in that little trip I did in the little rental car. And each time I saw a fox, they had a bird in their mouth, so they are serious hunters.
There are apparently around 5,000 to 6,000 reindeers, wild reindeers in Iceland, mostly in East Iceland, which we are kind of like in the area right now, but we haven't spotted any.
I think we read that they were introduced in the 1700s.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why they were introduced exactly. And then you've also got the Icelandic horses, which is quite small. It almost looks like a pony. They are, which I didn't realize as well, they go all the way back to the Viking times. The Vikings brought them over from mainland Europe, and they are one of the purest breed of horses in the world. I had no idea. We didn't film them too much because it's kind of a farm animal, so it doesn't interest us so much. Then you've got these sheep. So they're kind of a mountain sheep. They all have horns, even from a really young age. And they're kind of like a cross between a sheep and a goat. And they are used for their wool. So the Icelanders, every Icelander you see has this home knitted brown jumper, and it's made out of the wool from these sheep. It's like their traditional thing to do. And then there's also been a ton of snow geese. They're really beautiful, and a lot of birds, but not many animals at all, like no lizards, no small animals, nothing like that at all.
So here, this beach, normally it's quite famous to spot some whales. We haven't actually seen one despite the pretty good weather here. We've seen a small whale, I guess, on the East Fjord.
A very small, fully black whale, and we only saw its tail a couple of times.
And
Not too sure what it
a few
was.
little dolphins as well.
And the dolphin was only about the size of a
Tiny.
small dog. They were tiny, tiny dolphins, but that's pretty cool.
And we've spotted as well some seals, quite a lot of seals as well
Seals.
in Iceland. So
Maybe a sea lion, I'm not too sure, hard
Yeah.
to say. But yeah, not a ton of wildlife, which we love seeing from Australia, of course, is all the wildlife.
And one of the iconic Icelandic animals is a bird called a puffin, which was actually quite cool to like look at them. They're quite funny the way they move.
They're a cool bird. They're a little stocky, nuggety little guy. And they're always leaving their little hole in the ground where the baby is, the chick. They fly out into the ocean, catch fish, diving for fish, and then when they come back, they come in at a huge rate of knots, and they like tumble on the ground, and then they scurry to find their little home. It was really cool to actually watch them. I didn't film them so much. I just wanted to get some nice photos with the tele lens, and got a couple of nice ones.
Alright, so we're leaving the F899. We got Oakley at the front because it's such an easy off-road, just like slow driving, lots of little river crossings that you can kind of like check out from the front. He loves it. It's been actually quite fun to have him sometime just at the front with it.
Just chilling when we're in low range, it's nice.
Yeah. And yeah, we're heading back towards our ferry and we're making the most of this beautiful, this area is really nice and good weather. And that actually reminds me a little bit more of the exploration we did around the East Fjords before Chris went on his little volcano mission. A stunning area of Iceland, which I think is very much underrated compared to the West Fjords. It's just not as popular, less people. It was stunning.
I think East Fjords is far superior to the more famous West Fjords. You've got taller fjords either side of you. You've got more of like an open ocean. So when we were in the West Fjords, it was almost like the entire area was a lake, which is nice, but it all looked the same after a while to us. Whereas the East Fjords, you know, we saw the whale, the dolphins. It's just a bit more rugged. There's some cliffs and much less busy. And there was that really nice off-road that we took, like a track. And I honestly just think it's more ruggedly beautiful than the West Fjords and a fraction of the people.
Alright, so today is officially our last day in Iceland. We are leaving tomorrow, taking the ferry back to Denmark and mainland Europe. We were actually meant to leave a week ago, but there was a huge storm in Scotland that you may have seen in the news. And our ferry was delayed with a departure at 1 AM and arrival at midnight in Denmark.
Yeah. It would have been horrible with Oaks.
With Oakley, we just decided it was not worth the hassle and not worth the horrible sea conditions.
Yeah, the sea state was probably really rough, so it's probably for the best, I think.
Yeah, so we just look for the ferry crossing tomorrow. So yeah, we had an extra week where we had a little bit more adventures. We went back into the Highlands.
This time in the north, so the North Highlands, so the other side of Vatnajökull Glacier.
Yeah, so we actually did a really cool track in a bizarre kind of terrain.
So it was completely different than the rest of the Highlands we had seen, which was this beautiful green moss and grass and rivers.
Which is probably the landscape we like the most.
Yes, but this was the closest you could get to an apocalyptic wasteland. It was just ash and grey, broken old lava fields.
Yeah.
And it made for this incredible scene, but there was no saturation, there was no colour anywhere. It was really bizarre. Skadi stood out, and Skadi's pretty desaturated in terms of colour. It was really weird.
Yeah, so one last really cool adventure in Iceland. You like the swimming pool?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, very.
We'll swim.
I'm a boat.
Comfortable.
Whoa, so many bubbles. Dad is
Papa.
stirring up all the green monsters at the bottom.
Well, funnily enough, today we were meant to be on a ferry back to mainland Europe, to Denmark, but here we are. Our 8th week in Iceland, and we decided to go back deep and remote into the Highlands again towards the Vatnajökull National Park. We found an amazing track that's going like all along the glacier.
Epic track.
Quite bumpy.
So we're more kind of on the northeast of the country now, whereas most of the off-roads we had done in the Highlands were kind of south, I guess you could say. So kind of the other side of the Vatnajökull Glacier, and a completely different landscape, much more barren, more like a moonscape. But yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, crazy that we've kind of like now did the loop of Iceland. It's like
We completed it.
yeah, we've done everything we wanted to see, and yeah, this part, even though it's quite different from the other part of the Highlands, it's still quite special. And at the end of the track, we drove a little bit further on the main off-road track as well, and we found this insane little hot spring pool, like
Beautiful
natural.
little hot spring, yeah. Must be about 35 degrees. It's not really hot, but it's definitely warm enough. It's been really cold, so it was actually snowing this morning when we started the truck up to get going. It was properly snowing.
All right, so we'll enjoy your last week in Iceland and this beautiful hot pool.